Hello, I say good evening from the UK and good day to you, Diana. Welcome to everyone who's going to join us and listening. We are at the Ladies Go Live, the episode 1 of series 3, and we're talking about our well-being. And I'm joined by the beautiful Diana Robinson, who is the EMF gal. I nearly said that wrong there. How could I get that wrong? How are you doing today?
Really? It's so easy.
I was like, how can I get it wrong? It's 3 letters. EMF. Oh my God.
Well, starts the show off with a bang. Yay!
Well, seriously, I'll have one day. I'll have a blooper reel of things that you don't say this. I've already done it. So how's your day started so far?
So far, so good. Right now, I'm in Southern California, and so it's about 11 in the morning here. And I was sitting in my yard enjoying the sun, putting my feet in the ground to get grounded, watching all the little birds, squirrels and ravens and hawks that were hanging out in my yard. I live on the edge of a canyon. So super grateful to have nature all around me. Helps me to stay happy.
That sounds like a little bit of heaven right there.
Yeah. Super grateful.
Yeah. I mean, I was having a conversation. I was on the Clubhouse earlier and having this conversation about the beauty of being in nature and just, how good it feels, just actually just being there, that positive energy, how good it feels.
Yeah. And speaking of that, it's actually one of the ways that you can, by getting grounded, it also, regarding EMFs or electromagnetic frequencies, it actually helps release some of those energies through your feet. And so it's just kind of like airing yourself from those technologies, and whether it's feet in the earth or even on concrete, but barefoot is key.
All right, well, I'm going to hold that thought, because obviously we're going to dig more into obviously what EMF is, the benefits and things like this, because that is one, super important, but secondly, exactly what you do. So please give a brief introduction, because I can obviously talk about how amazing you are, but tell us exactly what you do, how you ended up in doing this, and sort of a little bit about your journey.
Lovely. So I've been a feng shui consultant for over 20 years, and way back in the day, I remember being very interested in EMFs, and got these little devices to wear and put on the back of the phone. And, one of the components of feng shui is health, of course, love, romance, and of course, money. But the health aspect, I always would be curious when I go in people's homes, how can I really benefit them on a health level? I mean, of course, having the energy flow in a certain way is muy importante. So that's important. So fast forward in today's climate, I began to be even more interested in it, and began to look at a couple of companies, and even bought a couple of products. And a dear friend of mine said, you really need to check out this company, EMF Solutions. They're amazing. We've had our products, and EMF devices on our house for a year now. Check them out. So I did. It was just like, oh my God, they are amazing, because they address the root cause. So I began to do that. I got certified with the company. I'm a certified EMF specialist. And it's just like, it's taken off, and it morphed into EMF gal. So it's like, wow, that is so amazing, actually. EMFgal.com. So it's just like so great, because I feel like it's my mission and my journey to help as many people as I can, because so many people are feeling the ill effects from these crazy EMFs. So that's kind of how it happened. So.
Yeah. And it sounds like that those two really complement each other, the feng shui with the EMF and the sort of balancing of energies. It sounds like that's like a really good fit for the two to work together as well.
Oh, it really is. Because you can, I mean, the base of everything I feel right now, if you is having a toxic-free EMF space where it's remediated, harmonized. We're not blocking or shielding, we're harmonizing. Because you can have the most beautifully decorated place. I also had an interior design company at one point, And you can have something that's very, very gorgeous and beautiful. But if the people in the space are feeling sick and they're having headaches and they're tired and their energy is zapped and their health is compromised, and if it's coming from the effect of EMFs on the body, then that's like step one. Get the home remediated so you can have a feeling of harmony and peace and balance.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Wow. So obviously, if anyone is listening in and you do have any questions, because obviously me and Diana will be here for about another half an hour or so. I have a few questions. I've even got some that have been pre-given to me. So you're in the hot seat tonight.
Uh-oh.
Obviously, we can keep
Bring
talking
it
about bring it on. I like it. Right. EMF, obviously, we're talking EMF. And so there might be some people going, what are they talking about? So can you tell us a little bit more about what EMF is and how it's in our lives?
Yes. So EMF, electromagnetic frequencies radiation. The EMF radiation is coming from, little things like our cell phones that we carry around with us. So we're carrying radiation with us. Every time we sit for a Zoom, we are zapping ourselves with these strong, strong energies. They're coming from the meters that are on the outside of our house. They're called smart meters in the US, or just the electrical boxes on the inside, or even in an apartment or condo complex, you have electrical boxes many times. So they're also coming from, of course, all the cell towers and all the towers and satellites that they're putting it up in the sky. They're coming from our cars, because they're emitting. EMFs are drawn to metal, so it's like an antenna. So when you're sitting in a car, then, or you're laying in your bed, and you're laying in your bed, then the EMFs kind of come to you and are attracted to you.
So basically, you're like magnetizing them. You're drawing them in.
Yep. You're magnetizing them to you, right?
Yeah.
And another big one, a big surprise is solar. Solar creates what is called dirty electricity. So that's one of the areas that we also need to remediate. So those are some of the sources.
Yeah. So tell me exactly, because obviously we've listed and talked, things like headaches and things like this can be, say, common things that you can obviously experience. So obviously the pressure, the headaches. How would you say signs and symptoms of what's affected by EMF could different to something else? So if I got a headache because of EMF compared to if I had a headache because I just hadn't slept, would there be any significant noticeable differences in what we would feel, or would it be like a combined?
Well, the people that contact us often have headaches that are ongoing. Some people, have, or they just say, our head is hurting, or they have pounding in their chest in this like a vibration, or they get burning sensations in their hand, or when they're holding their phone, it feels so hot to them. Ringing in the ears is another common one. There's so much happening in the head. People wear these wireless devices. You see them hanging from their ear.
Yeah,
it's causing brain cancer and tumors in the ears. Or smartwatches. Right now I'm wearing a device that is not a smartwatch or a Fitbit. Yeah. Ta-da!
I got ink. How's that? Oh, that one.
Yay!
No smartwatch, just ink.
Yeah. There's so many issues, Liz. There's more fatigue issues, sleep issues, higher increase in cancer, autism, Alzheimer's. It's such a long list. Basically, bottom line, when you're feeling kind of wonky and it keeps going on, and actually, just the other day, one of the sometimes people actually don't know they're having symptoms, but when we remediate their home, Sometimes they'll go through a detox. It's one of the reasons we know our products are activated and working. And that just happened yesterday to a doctor that I was working with, and he was at his office and went home, and he's feeling like a little bit of vertigo and headaches. And then he went back to his office and he was fine, because the home was actually settling, and his body's so used to being in the toxic EMF that when he went to space, the body's going yippee, but starting to trying to acclimate to. It's almost like when somebody's getting off of some kind of a prescription drug. Sometimes there'll be some detox.
A detoxing. Yeah, I love detoxing, especially on a Friday, because you let go of the week, you celebrate your wins, and you have a great weekend. Detox is very big in my book. Very, very, very essential. Yes. So if we talk about, because obviously one of the biggest devices that emits EMF is our phone.
Yeah. It's huge because, in fact, would you like me to show you a picture?
Oh,
okay. Ooh. So here's what it looks like when you're on your phone. See the red part? That's not good. Nice. So that's just being on your phone. And actually,
just say those guys who are listening, I'm just going to describe what I've seen. It's basically a picture of the head, and there's obviously about a quarter of the head from the ear where the phone is held is solid red. Around it, there's a ring of yellow, and then obviously it extends to blue and green. So literally about 50% of your head is in sort of a high emission zone.
Now, let me show you a child. They get 2 times more DNA damage.
Now, let's times that by 2. So a child in the red is literally 2/3 of their head. So a child holding a phone is having nearly the whole head covered with high levels of radiation.
Yep. And just one last one. When a man holds the phone in his pocket, puts it in his pocket, it's there's a huge decrease in infertility, and the sperm count has gone down in men because it's right next to their baby making machine.
So describing this one, guys, I'm not going to go into too much detail, but imagine a phone in a pocket. Imagine a nice circle around it. You're looking probably at least a foot wide. So obviously being male, your reproductive system is right there.
Yes, indeed. So
let's put it in that.
I'm just saying, it's like our phone is crazy. And, it's basically, years ago, it was a whole room to have a computer. Now we have a computer in our pocket. Just imagine what that's doing to your DNA. And, even when people don't have symptoms that they report, if they have anything over 30 milliwatts per meter squared, it's causing DNA damage. Our phones are over 2,000 milliwatts per meter squared.
Is there a way to reduce our phones in terms of the EMF emissions? Like, is there special cases we can have? Is there little things that we can do quite easily to help with this, or just
yes. Now, some people put special cases on their phone, but that is not really the root cause. It reduces them a little, but let's say it's normally 2,000, it drops it down to say 1,000. Well, anything over 30 is creating DNA damage. So we have devices that we put right on the back of the phone like that. Mm-hmm. It's just a long chip. And what that does is it remediates it. So you're not having those effects. People who couldn't hold their phone with our devices all of a sudden can use their phone and they're not feeling that burning sensation.
That's incredible. I mean, that's literally a simple little thing. That's what, inch and a half long?
Yeah, or a little bit longer than that. Maybe about 3 inches, 2.5, 3 inches.
2.5, 3 inches.
Yeah. The other tip you can do right now, of course, is when you're not using your phone, just put it on Wi-Fi, turn off the Bluetooth. That will help tremendously, because when I'm measuring them with my meters, then it goes way, way down. Mm. So that's one thing you can do. Don't keep it on your person and put it on speakerphone as well.
Yeah, I do that all the time. I was saying to someone earlier, someone commented on the post and they said, made the comment about, not having it in the house. And I said, yeah, if I can't put my phone on speaker, sometimes I won't answer because I'm just like, can sit at my desk. But it's the same. My Bluetooth is never on my phone unless I'm using it. I actually turn it off, and people go, that's a bit strange. But then I have a Himalayan rock lamp right by my bed and things like this as well. So I'm probably a bit more aware than some people are of.
Oh, I'm sure you are. Yeah, I mean, you're such a component for health and being a wellness coach, and you are doing some amazing things for your people out there. You're getting them to exercise and just really having these shows. So I can feel your passion for wanting to help your listeners. My hat's off to you, Liz.
But I'm still going to admit I haven't got anything in my phone, guys. So guess what I'm going to be doing once I'm off this call, looking into it. So because your health is your wealth. That's simple.
Isn't that true? Yeah. Without your health, what else can you do? Right. So
it's everything. It affects everything.
And this is the largest invisible toxin we're exposed to today. You add up, GMO food and funky water and this and that. This is pretty toxic. So
yeah. So let's look at the last 12 months. So in the last 12 months, we've been in lockdown.
Oh, yeah. Really?
Let's just say that lockdown fun. Do you think the last 12 months pandemic has increased our connection, surroundings of EMF, or have we been less of it, or
tremendously? Why the world was in lockdown, they're out putting cell towers all over the place, in churches, in schools, right across, in your neighborhood. They're all over. And as a matter of fact, because the EMF and the other impact is people, of course, on Zoom. So they're personally sitting in front of a radiation thing that's emitting 2,000 milliwatts per meter squared, or on their phones, same thing. So it's affecting people's health. We actually had to increase, we put something like this on an extra meter outside. We had to double that. This used to be half the size because of the frequencies and they have gone up so much.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely has affected people. And we just get calls all the time.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying anything. I'm sat with my laptop and both my phones within hand reach without extending my arm. So that in itself is just saying, and I'm probably one of the people who's got the least devices because I actually like my technology not to be near me. But
yeah. Well, here's the thing. You can all have your technology. You can have the latest and greatest. It just needs to be remediated. And we can remediate everything you have, whether it's a laptop, a cell phone, your house, even you. We even have little devices you can wear. It looks like a Fitbit. And stuff.
That might be better than my ink, maybe.
Yeah, the ink might do it. Yeah, I think so. Boom, 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 boom. Stay away, EMFs. Stay away, EMFs.
my defense.
Get harmonized.
Yeah, that will be the next one. Can we?
You could tattoo like a Fitbit thing on your wrist and pretend.
Yeah, I mean, I do wear watches, and I'm not alone with this. I do wear watches, but then, like for example, I have one I teach with, one other one that I'm like, if I'm going out and about. And then I had a shower after teaching, and I was like, I don't need it on. Why do I need to have, a bit of metal on my wrist? I'm like, I don't need to wear it.
So I have a question for you. Are any of your watches smartwatches?
Not anymore. I lost it.
Good.
And then I went, oh dear. No, actually, the one I had it was an Apple Watch. It wasn't that fancy, but I did have a nice watch. I went out, and of course, it pinged off. And I have this thing. I went, well, it fell off, which means it's fate for me not to have it.
Lovely. Oh, well, that was a act of providence, I believe. Because here's the thing: there was a study in 2004 comparing direct damage coming from X-rays, comparing that to indirect damage coming from cell phones, and they were comparing the two in this study, actually out of Europe. And bottom line is, it was discovered that being on your phone for 24 hours, or if this was a smart watch for 24 hours, is the same as having 1,600 chest X-rays.
And if anyone's had an X-ray, you can feel shit afterwards. Just saying.
Yep. So there you have it. So listeners, please consider not using the wireless earbuds in your ear and anything on your person like that. It's not doing you any favors. It's lowering your immune system and it's creating DNA damage.
And our immune system is our greatest defense. So we want to be nurturing it, not destroying it.
Yep.
So obviously you just said about sort of professionals, on the phones and things like this. Obviously we know why it's so important, obviously the health, the impact it's going to have and things like this. So connecting to the why it's important, what can, if I'm a busy professional, well, I am, but if I'm running a business and I've got all this, what ways can I sort of obviously care for my health while being surrounded by EMF? Is it just going to be things like devices on the desk and
Yes, actually, it is. And, having researched some other companies and then coming across different devices, I feel that the EMF Solutions products is superior because they address the root cause. And the root cause is something called subatomic chaos. So we address that. We have different things you can put on your devices to address the root cause, which then harmonizes the EMFs without blocking or shielding. And we have things like, this is like for your cell phone. This is something you can wear in your back pocket or the band I already showed you. We have things, if you're in an apartment or a condo, you can plug these in. Sometimes people, they're very nice to put in right next to your bed. This harmonizes it. And we have little things you can put under your bed because of the metal. Show and tell. Show and tell. So yeah, and there's little things we put on the back of your laptops. They just go underneath them. So kind of like that. Yep. So yep. What dear?
I said there's something for everything.
Well, because, and even, actually, when you're driving in your car, this is what we put in cars. Something, you got something for you, your car, and your house. How's it getting better than that? Right? Everything. It's like, and wait, there's more. This is like our aspirin. This is called a device clip. This little baby just clips right on the back of your Wi-Fi router. So if this was a cord,
you just click it on.
Yeah, you just here's the router and just clip it on the power cord. That is great for anything wireless, Bluetooth. We use the device clip like nobody's business. Some people have things, they don't have some of those, but most people do. So that's what we can do to actually take care of you. And we do ship all over the world.
And because obviously I'm the queen of like holistic and natural. And of course we had the conversation before we jumped on about your beautiful lamp in the background, because I've got one right by my bed. And of course these things are out there which support it. What is the comparison with the sort of like natural products to obviously a couple of devices? Is there, if you really couldn't get hold of it or afford, say, some of these little things, would a natural product, assist? How much does it assist?
They assist a tiny bit. They, they kind of clean the air a little bit and they a little bit reduce, but again, it doesn't address the root cause. If you're having symptoms, that's not going to touch it. It's just like, I like it because I just feel it has really wonderful energy, and I feel like it just does put a nice energy in the space on that level. On a feng shui level, I think it's marvelous. I love them. I have 3 of them. But as far as protecting your DNA, not a chance.
So guys, if you are listening, natural's great, but sometimes you need that little bit more, and it does need that extra treat. Extra treat. Yeah, you're healthy.
That's an extra treat for you for sure. Now, that being said, we do use earth-based materials in the products. They are like rocks and crystals, but they've been scientifically measured. They have to pass 3 tests and have a certain frequency. And it's that frequency that addresses the 2, the root cause of the subatomic chaos, which is where the problem is. And our company does that.
It's amazing. Well, let's get back to you, because you're a pretty special gal. Um, or gal, sorry, let's get it. You're pretty special
gal.
yeah. Girl sounds a bit like, hang on a second. You're a bit older than a girl.
Just a tad.
But with your own health and well-being, obviously EMF has obviously come across your journey. What has been the biggest challenge in terms of your own health and well-being, whether it's EMF related or not?
Well, I have to say, like during this last 12 months, like many people, I got into having comfort food. So I noticed I got a little bloaty. And so that's been my personal challenge over the last year. But it's like, oh, I love making cookies. I think I'll make some cookies or make some bread. But I'm now starting to do that. It's change that around. It's springtime. So I'm doing an internal detox right now myself.
There are some healthier recipes. I will try and dig one out for you and send one over. My little gift would be my guest.
Oh, thank you.
Because sometimes we do, a little treat's fine, but I'm like you. This is why my comfort during lockdown was baking.
Yeah.
I was allowed one cake a week or one batch of cookies, and that was it, because whatever got made had to get eaten.
Yeah.
And
yeah, you can freeze them though, Liz. Usually make a batch, freeze them.
Yeah. Well, I share a house, so of course I've got 2 drawers and a freezer and things like. So it's beautiful, it's perfect, and of course it helps because I've got someone to help me eat it.
Lovely.
But it means I had to put a restriction on myself because I can get a little carried away.
Yeah. So anyway, that's 2 confessions from Deanna.
But a little treat is okay. We are allowed those little treats.
Yeah. It's like life. It's all about balance, to create that harmony and peace in our life. It's everything in kind of moderation.
It is indeed.
Yeah.
I literally was just about to read that. Here we go. So the process, I keep my notes. I'm not going to lie. I keep notes with me the whole time because I have my crib sheet. So any guys listening, you think this is so smooth? Pretty smooth, but I have a crib sheet.
Well, you're amazing. You're great. I love you.
But what would obviously going back to the EMF and of course think, what if I was coming to you and I said, Diana, I need help. What sort of thing would I have to expect?
Well, first of all, I do work virtually 80% of the time all over the world, mostly in the US. And I have a 3-step process. The first step is actually education, to educate you about the signs and dangers so that you know what's going on and will kind of help you to wake up and be aware. So once we finish that first step, then the second step is to do a virtual assessment of what you have in your space. Now, if someone is local in the San Diego area in California, then I go out and I take my devices and measure. However, I don't really need to because I already know what the radiation levels is with all these devices. So we do an assessment. And then the third step is then provide the solutions, the things that that you have in your space, and then prioritize what's step 1, step 2, step 3. Because sometimes we need to go, budget concerns, we go as we can. And then, part of that step 3 is actually when we install the devices, whether I send them to you in the mail or if I'm in person, is to let you know sometimes if there's been a lot of EM sensitivity in your body and you're not aware of it, there can be a detox, period, which could be a couple hours, overnight, or a day or 2. And we have remedies for that, like apple cider vinegar and bentonite clay and things like that to calm that down. Because when you take the toxic stress off the body, then the body finally can go, yippee, I can heal. But sometimes there's a purge first. Yeah. I think I mentioned that earlier, but just it's good to reiterate that. Yeah.
Well,
and people can book a virtual assessment on my website. So it's easy to do, just to get yourself remediated.
Yeah, I mean, you highlight that, that purge, you've said a couple of times, but when you go through any sort of detox change like this, there's, I'll call it the shit period, because you either hard, you might feel worse before you sometimes get better, you know. And people don't understand this. It's like actually on the journey to sort of good, it doesn't happen overnight. So putting something in, you have this change period, and you have to be ready for that.
And I have to say that that is an area that I don't think I've talked enough about with some of my previous clients, where I didn't really let them know this could happen. And then they go, oh my God, I have, you know, whatever it is they're having. And it's like, so then with people that I for sure know they're sensitive, I said, let's go slowly. Maybe we just fix the Wi-Fi router, put the clip on, maybe put the band on, you know, and then wait a few days, see how you feel. Then add a few more things, you know, the thing on the house or the little plug-in, the room organizer. So it's like just going slowly so the body gets used to these new frequencies. Like I said, that you know, the doctor that I just helped recently was like, oh my God, what's going on? So
that's it.
Well, sorry, I don't think he said he had no symptoms. So I believed him. Now I know. I don't care what people say. We're going to go slow. Step one, do this. Step two, do that. Wait a couple of days, then do that. It's like, because this stuff is so strong with such powerful but simple, you know, how they're, you know, they're from the earth. But you know, when you got it right and you dress that, then the body's like can start healing.
Yeah.
And
the body, to be honest, we have one body. It's literally that simple.
Yeah.
You know, we need to care.
Yep. You know, and of course, I believe with all my heart that remediating EMFs is one of the most important things you can do for your health. You know, along with healthy food and water and exercise and all the things that you do to coach your people into wellness.
Yeah. Well, I say exercise is the most underused antidepressant we have. If you know people get depressed or anything or any anxiety, whatever it is, pretty much exercise is one of the prescriptions given to you. And yet so many people don't engage in some form of exercise.
Do you exercise every day, Liz?
Yeah, pretty much. Actually, yeah.
And how often do you, like, is it like 20 minutes or 30 minutes or an hour or?
Well, it depends because I teach as well. So for me, my exercise levels are slightly different because obviously if I'm teaching a class, I'll do 50 to 80% of every class. And like today I had 3 classes. One of them was a chair-based class with my HUK lot. I love these guys. I volunteer. So I've got on Zoom, I've got a screen full of people and I'm obviously, so they're following me. So in order for them to really get it, I've got to do the whole class. So although it's a low intensity class, I've just done a 50-minute workout.
Wow, that's fantastic.
I can do anything from, say, a Sunday where I might just do an hour, but I might go for an hour and a half to walk, to doing, I've done up to like 6-7 hours a day.
Wow. Well, you look great. I saw you in your videos teaching your classes. Like I would say, you know, if you have, you know, check Liz out for some great exercise regimes. She has things right on her.
My exercise technique videos on my YouTube.
Yep, on her YouTube.
But this is the thing, because I sit there going, for years, I mean, you've obviously not followed me on LinkedIn. I went through a stage of having body dysmorphia because when I left the army, I was slimmer than I am now, but actually thought I was bigger because in some ways I was bigger than other people I've been with, and I had this real body image thing. And then I went through a stage of going, okay, got in shape, knew I looked great, felt great. And then I went sort of the other way. So I put on extra weight and people go, but you look great. But I didn't feel great. I felt frumpy, like my clothes didn't fit, you know, and I wasn't comfortable as me.
Yeah.
And I moved to London. This is my little story, adding on to your little podcast. But then I sort of spent 6 months and just went, I'm going to put myself first. I'm going to get healthier. I'm going to get active and I'm going to eat better. Basically, I've reduced my stress. You know, I've just transformed my lifestyle. So when I came, of course, after 6 months, someone came to me and said, yeah, I thought you were a mum of 2 kids when you first moved here. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, I thought you literally got 2 young kids under the age of 3. And that's why you were holding the extra weight, because you just
oh my gosh. Wow.
I was like,
Oh no!
That's
What an
right.
incentive that was! Whoa.
But at the same time, it was kind of like the realization that actually I wasn't looking my greater, I wasn't looking terrible, wasn't looking, this, but I wasn't top of my game, and of course, if you ask me about weight and stuff, anyone that knows, I'm about 68 kilograms, so I'm just over 10 stone thereabouts. And I weighed myself, I think 9 months ago. It's not a weight thing, it's how my clothes fit. So
Yeah,
we
true.
emphasize this, like you were saying about comfort eating or, the snacking, we do these things sometimes to deal with like other feelings. Like if you've got a headache, you'll eat certain foods or, you do this. And actually a little bit's okay. It's actually balanced, but a lot is when it happened.
It's always about balance, no matter what it is. Yeah. It creates that when we have that balance in our life, we just feel better.
Yeah, we do.
Kind of like Goldilocks.
This one's too hot. This one's right in the middle.
Just right. Yeah, that's right.
So, Deanna, what's one bit of advice that you would give to anyone that sort of listens into this? What's one bit of advice that you would give from your own experience?
Well, and use your technology less rather than more, unless you get it remediated. Keep your phone off, either off or turn off the Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, as I mentioned earlier. Get outside, put your feet in the earth. Let the earth also just help calm the body down from the radiation. Even walking on concrete. So that would be great.
So your medicine, guys, for today or something is get outside for at least 10 minutes, barefoot, and stand on nature.
Yep, you feel much better. Yeah. And then you can also, I have some tips on my website, No, I'm doing it. I caught it from you.
It's catching.
From so far away. So my website is emfgal.com. Stands for electromagnetic frequencies, emfgal.com. On that website, there's some tips and tools that you can use that without having any devices at this moment. Just follow some of those for some tips. And if you care to book a session with me, you can book online, and we can do a Zoom, and that's complimentary. So happy to do that.
That website is emfgal.com, and the email is support at, I'm going to get this right again, emfgal.com.
Yeah, it's support at emfgal.com.
Brilliant.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, that's like good. So E as in Edward, Mary, M as in Mary, and F as in Frank. .gal. Gal. And there you have it.
Absolutely fabulous.
Wonderful ladies, and if there's men so lovely that you're joining us.
Thank you. I think we're gonna, because we're gonna start having just the girls giggle. Thank you so much for joining me and coming and talk and sharing your valuable knowledge, your insight, and that, I'll say, critical advice that we all need to listen to. So thank you so much. I hope you have a lovely Friday, and thank you to those who are listening.
And Liz, thank you so much for inviting me on your show to share this information with your guests. I'm so honored to have spent time with you and get to know you more. It was fabulous.
The start of a beautiful journey, I would say.
Yeah, yay.
So have a great weekend, everyone. Thank you all for listening. And Deanna, to you, beautiful Friday.
Beautiful Friday.